Hey guys, welcome to part one in the kind of like the fire pathing series. We're going to be going over creating a fire and having it slowly move around an area, spawning in collisions, and eventually doing damage to the player over time or just straight up killing them, however you want to handle it. So we'll go over all of that and how to stop the fire and how to reset it. So if you need to for levels or whatever else. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. For the actual fire effects themselves, I'm going to be using this M5 Virtual Effects Volume 2 pack. It was free on the Epic Games Store a while back, but if you have any other fire particles you want to use for this, feel free to use whatever you want. Okay, so to get started here, let's go ahead and create our new asset. I'm gonna go ahead and create a folder here. Let's call it fire pathing tutorial. Let's go ahead and create a new blueprint class. We're gonna just make this an actor. Name this fire path spline. Let's go ahead and open this up. And what we're going to do first is we're going to create the spline itself. It's going to just be a regular spline. You can rename this if you want. I'm just going to leave it as spline here. And then let's see. Go ahead and create a new variable. This is going to be our Agra system component. Let's see, where is it? So Niagara system. Let's go ahead and leave that as is. This is going to be just for fire, so we can set it inside. Let's go ahead and pick one here. I think let's do big fire. And I'm just going to name the variable Niagara Fire. Compile, save. Okay, and I'm going to delete all these. So again, let's go ahead and do a custom event. Do start fire. Let's just put it right here. Go ahead and add a timeline next. This is going to be for basically creating the fires and also for how long you kind of want them to continue for. Mostly for the creation part itself. So let's do fire spawning timeline. Double click that to open it up. Let's go ahead and create a float track here. Let's make the length, I don't know, like, let's make it kind of short to start with. We can do 10 seconds. And then we're going to need to add 2 keys. So we'll do time 0, value 0. And then we'll do a second key. And we'll do time 10, value 10. Oh, mess that one up. 10. Okay. Compile, save. Go ahead and exit out of that. So we'll do start fires. Let's go ahead and we can just plug it into play from start for now. And then let's go ahead and just pull this out since this is our fire. Now we're going to need to get the spline. We're going to need to be checking the distance along the spline. So we'll do, let's see, distance. So this one, get distance along spline at location. Actually, sorry, let's reverse that. We need to get location at distance along spline. Delete this one. Okay, so get location at distance along spline. Let's put it right back where it was actually. And then let's do world. Let's go and pull this out. Let's just do, I think it's spawn. Yeah, spawn system at location. Let's see. Go ahead and create a new variable here. Make it a float. This is going to be the distance between the fires. And we'll make this an instance so that you can edit it outside the blueprint in case you want to change that on a per fire basis or on a per actor basis. Go ahead and do this. Fire distance, and let's go ahead and duplicate this, and we'll name this one holder. So we'll get fire distance holder. That's going to be plugged into here. So this is going to increase over time. This is our set value, and we can take instance editable off of fire distance holder because that does not need to be changed. And then for update, let's go ahead and do a delay here. This is going to be our delay, our time delay between the different fires spawning in the system. Go ahead and compile that. We can go ahead and make this one instance editable as well, just so we can control that more easily without having to edit this directly. So I'm going to make that, let's make it 0.5, so half a second between each fire. And then we can go ahead and move this up. This is going to control the actual location, so we'll plug that in right there. Let's uncheck auto destroy. And let's uncheck pre-call check. And then we will, let's see. Let's go ahead and add one more in right here. This is going to be a vector. This is going to be the previous point. So this is going to be so we don't have to edit the timeline in the future. Basically, what it's going to do is we're going to check the previous point and see if it ends up. So this one's basically for if we hit the end of the spline, we don't want it to continue to summon fires or to spawn them in. So we're going to check it each time, and if it hits if a fire spawns in at the same location as the previous one, then it will stop the process and it'll stop creating them so a bunch don't stack up at the very end of the spline. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Going to check equal. We'll do equal exactly. I want to do a branch. And if it's false, we want to do this. So we'll pull this down. If it's true, let's go ahead and create another event here. Stop fires. And we'll plug it into here. So for now, just do that. Okay. Next, we're going to come off of here. We're going to promote this to a variable. I'm going to store that real quick. We're going to change this over to an. Let me delete that. Here it is. We're going to change this to an array. And we will do fire x array. Go ahead and plug this here. And then we will do add. So every time it creates one, it adds it to this. And then from here, we're going to copy this. We're going to change this to an array as well. We're going to rename this to previous points array. Go here. We're going to take the previous point. We're actually going to set it right here as well. So we'll take this same spot and we're going to plug it straight into previous point. If you want to reroute it, now's a good time. Okay. And then the previous points array, we're going to add like that. Move this up a bit. Let's actually that's fine for now. This is more for the collisions. We'll have to make some changes to this in a little bit. But for now, for testing, this will work so we can do the first part. Let's go ahead and we'll do fire distance. And we're going to add it to the fire distance holder. And we're going to set the fire distance holder to the new variable. So let's go ahead and move these over a bit, or we can put them down here. Okay, and we should basically be ready to go at this point for our first test. I'm going to go ahead and pull back the begin play node real quick, just for testing purposes. Let's go ahead and I'll do a delay here. We'll do 2 seconds, and then we'll just have it do start fire. Also, I realized we don't really need the float track for this one. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna turn this up to like 70 to prove a point. And I'm gonna delete these two. Okay. Okay. So now what this should do is it should follow the spline, create the fire, and then once it hits the same point, that goes right there. Once it hits the same point twice, it will stop. So yeah, make sure to plug in get distance at location, or sorry, get location at distance into this right here. So this will actually work. Okay. So looks good. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to pull out our spline here. And let's pull off, hold Alt, and you can create an addition to the spline. We'll do that for now. Okay. And then save. And then we'll play from here. Okay. Looking good. Oh. I know what happened. I forgot to add in the actual distance. So the holder's fine, but I forgot to put anything in fire distance here. So the default is set to 0. We don't want that. Let's set it to 200 as a default. And then I'm going to pull this out a bit. Pull this up. So we look here, we've got our delay and our distance. So we got 200. Let's go ahead and just set this to, let's leave it at 200 actually, just for the testing. Okay, there's our first, there's our second, there's our third. Oh, that's a couple in now. All right, there we go. So as you can see, it spread pretty quickly. And then if we want to modify it, we could do, let's say, like 100. So the fires will be closer together. And then let's put the delay down to like 0.3. Make it 50. The fires will be really close together. Okay. So as you can see, it's a little bit thicker because we turned the distance down to 50. Okay. So there we go. There's our fire pathing. And at this point it should have stopped, which it looks like it did. All right. So that should be it for part 1. In the next part, we're going to go over like adding collisions that spawn in with the fire so that if you run into it, it handles some sort of event, either like a damage over time, or in our case, we're just going to straight up destroy the player character actor, but handling a damage over time event will be very similar. And then we'll handle how to get the fire to either kind of like slowly disappear or pretty much instantaneously disappear if you're trying to like reset a level and you need the fire to go away so that you can have the player retry whatever it is that killed them. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.